jump right into this experience. You know that horrible sinking feeling you get in your stomach when you check your bank balance and then literally 2 seconds later you open up social media and see your friends posting these pristine, sun-drenched vacation photos from Bali? Yeah, we've all been there. It's a completely universal experience. Today, we're going to unpack the reality of what's actually funding those luxury lifestyles. And honestly, more importantly, we're going to talk about how you can shift your mindset from being a stressed out consumer to a confident wealth builder.
Because it's so incredibly easy to feel like everyone else was handed some secret financial handbook that you somehow just completely missed. Like when you're standing in the grocery aisle, right? You're stressing over whether you can afford the name brand cereal or if you got to stick with the generic stuff that kind of tastes like cardboard soaked in disappointment. You can't help but wonder, am I secretly the poorest person in my friend group? But here's the thing. The truth hiding behind all that flash is completely different.
You see, social media practically forces us to compare our messy, behind-the-scenes struggles to everyone else's carefully edited highlight reel. We're looking at this curated illusion of widespread wealth. You're seeing the perfectly lit, expensive restaurant meals, right? But what you aren't seeing are the 3 weeks of eating leftover rice that immediately followed. It's like everyone suddenly became a professional photographer specializing in making their life look like a luxury magazine spread while, conveniently cropping out the mattress on the floor of their studio apartment.
So let's peek behind that financial curtain for a second.
When we actually look at the data hiding behind those luxury lifestyle posts, it's pretty wild. A staggering 1 in 3 Americans is currently carrying credit card debt. That is literally millions of people treating their plastic cards like magic money printers. They swipe with the confidence of lottery winners, just completely ignoring the reality that they are getting buried under 20 to 30% interest rates. I mean, rates that would honestly make a loan shark blush. It's this whole mentality of live for today and let tomorrow deal with the consequences.
And on top of that, nearly 40% of Americans are working a side hustle, bringing in an average of about $800 a month. So what does this actually mean? It means when you see a coworker splurging on those expensive Tuesday lunches, they might just be trading their evenings and weekends for that extra cash. While you're at home relaxing, binge-watching Netflix, they are out there driving for a rideshare company or frantically running an online business just to fund that guilt-free spending.
It brilliantly illustrates how people make these massive hidden sacrifices. They're playing this weird game of financial whack-a-mole. Think about it. You probably know someone whose closet looks like a high-end boutique, right? But what you don't realize is they are secretly surviving on a strict ramen-only diet just to afford those labels. Or maybe it's the colleague who just bought that magazine cover house but is now eating peanut butter sandwiches every single day because their mortgage is just swallowing their entire paycheck. Literally, everyone is making trade-offs. We just only ever get to see the shiny side. Now, we also absolutely have to acknowledge stealth wealth. Family money is probably the biggest invisible factor out there. Look, some people just have parents covering their car insurance or their cell phone bills or even their rent. Or, maybe they magically got a quiet $10,000 gift for a house down payment. These invisible head starts act like real-life cheat codes. They make these individuals look like absolute financial geniuses, when in reality, they just had incredibly superior starting conditions. It's not a level playing field.
Okay, so what is the psychology of all this spending?
Like, why do so many people willingly trap themselves in this exhausting financial theater? Well, it's the classic fake it till you make it trap. People are willingly spending money they definitely don't have on things they absolutely don't need just to impress strangers. They act out this wealthy character, and much like method actors, they get completely stuck in the role. I've actually heard stories of guys driving luxury BMWs and always rushing to pick up the dinner check who are secretly running a one-man Ponzi scheme with their own credit cards just to keep the illusion alive. Because, let's face it, breaking character means admitting to everyone that they're actually broke.
And honestly, it doesn't help that our brains are actively working against us here. Buying something creates instant happy chemicals. You get an immediate massive dopamine hit. Saving, on the other hand, well, saving requires delayed gratification. It feels kind of like punishing yourself. It's literally exactly like trying to train a puppy to ignore a treat sitting right in front of its nose by promising a bigger treat later. The puppy doesn't understand later, and frankly, neither does our brain when it comes to spending. This instant gratification trap is precisely why a huge percentage of seemingly middle-class, well-educated Americans cannot even cover a $1,000 emergency without completely panicking. To put that in perspective, they might look like they are living super large online, but behind the scenes, they are essentially playing financial Russian roulette. They are just one unexpected car repair or medical bill away from total disaster.
Which brings us to a really interesting point. Why true wealth is silent.
There is this fascinating paradox between people who look rich and people who actually are. While insecure spenders are out there putting on this massive financial fireworks show, genuinely wealthy people are usually sitting quietly in the corner wearing like a 10-year-old sweater and driving a totally reliable, unremarkable car. It's crazy, but the people who look the richest are often the ones hanging on by a thread. And the people who actually have real money in the bank look like they shop exclusively at discount stores.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that real wealth is silent. Because when you have actual financial security, you completely lose the psychological need to flaunt it. I mean, think about it. If you had $1 million sitting in the bank, would you honestly care about making your high school classmates jealous on Facebook? Probably not. The burning need to flaunt wealth almost always comes from a place of deep insecurity, not from a place of abundance.
All right, let's talk about building your dollar workforce. How do you actually make the jump? How do you shift your mindset from being a stressed-out consumer to an empowered wealth builder, especially if you're a young professional trying to navigate this totally chaotic landscape? Well, the secret isn't necessarily just about hustling to earn more money. It's about adopting a true wealth builder mindset. You have to fundamentally rewire your relationship with money. You got to stop seeing a dollar as just a token to be spent immediately and start seeing it as a powerful tool that can be put to work for you. Think of it like this. Every single time you save and invest a dollar, you are basically hiring a tiny employee who will work for you forever. At first, they might only earn you a few cents a year, but over time, those employees multiply. Eventually, you have an entire workforce of dollars generating income for you while you are literally sleeping. A consumer mindset, however, they instantly fire those dollars the second they get paid. They buy stuff that just loses value, which is essentially telling their whole newly hired workforce to pack up, go home, and never come back. So, to make this powerful shift, you need to cultivate 3 very specific habits to prioritize long-term investment over that fleeting instant gratification. First up, you must consciously practice delaying instant gratification. Just ignore that immediate dopamine hit. Second, you have to stop comparing your actual, real life to the curated social media highlight reels of everybody else. Just stop it. And third, treat every single dollar as a working tool to be hired rather than a spending token that's just begging to be fired.
To make this super practical, we have the Wealth Builder Checklist.
This is specifically to help you young professionals out there implement this mindset every day, so you can easily distinguish between genuine wealth and just social media theater. It's a simple 3-step checklist to use before making any purchase, to track your daily spending versus your intentional savings. Ask yourself, number 1, is this just an instant gratification dopamine hit brought on by some clever marketing? Number 2, am I buying this specifically to impress people who probably aren't even paying attention to me anyway? And number 3, am I firing this dollar forever, or could I be hiring it to work for my future? As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to ask yourself this final question the very next time you feel that pressure to keep up appearances. Are you building a solid financial foundation, or are you just constructing a super fragile house of credit cards and wishful thinking? You got to decide today whether you want to continue performing fake wealth for an audience of total strangers, or if you are finally ready to start building a silent, unshakable foundation of real, lasting financial peace.